List. Disney List time. Taking a look at some of the best and the worst of the Disney theme parks from coast to coast. Today it's all about Disneyland and the challenges when it comes to visiting the Disneyland Resort right now. It isn't all peaches, rainbows, sunshine, and Dole Whips, my friends. No. There are challenges when it comes to visiting a place like the happiest place on Earth right now. And Tyler Crouch, Katrina Manzoni are here to share a few of the challenges that they recognize come along with visiting the original Magic Kingdom. Tyler, let's start with you. What do you think? Challenges, Disneyland, what's standing in the way of people living their best Disneyland life?
Well, I mean, obviously things have been changing a lot recently with the new keys and just the reservation system and all those fun things that have been happening. So it's a brand new kind of landscape to go over all this new stuff. And so just some of the things for me that have been kind of a pain. Number one, getting dining reservations has been rough, and I don't know if it's because they are trying to just keep more walk-ups open, or because they're having issues with staffing, or what the issue is exactly. But it's just like, I feel like the only place that ever has dining availability, regularly is like Riverbell Terrace, and other than that, good luck. I mean, you kind of have to jump on like 60 days beforehand and get in there and get your dining reservations. And the part that really is difficult is you have to have a park reservation on the same day you have your dining reservation. So you kind of just have to, we even were talking about this last week a little bit. So you kind of just have to grab as many reservations. Like if you see a reservation, just like grab it and say, oh, I hope I can get there that day. And I think that's what a lot of people are doing. And so it's just making it really hard to get a dining reservation. So that's my number one. Keep your eye on the lookout for those reservations because they go quick.
Keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah. And my second kind of blunder, I guess, is like mobile order in general. I guess like mobile order is still good. I know it has its uses, and I still do use it, and when it works well, and I love it. But I think that it works well for me because I know what I'm doing, and I go to Disney like every weekend at least. But when I think about people who are going there not on a regular basis, or that don't really know that much about, what they have to do to have a fun day, I could see people going there, not getting a mobile order, being starving. Oh, okay, it's lunchtime, let's go eat. Not getting a mobile order, going to Casino Cucamonga or something, for example, seeing that there's one register there for a line of 30 people. And because you didn't get your mobile order 2 or 3 hours earlier, you have to go and wait in that line. It's like, so I just think that the mobile order, it's good, but I guess maybe it's not the mobile order so much that I dislike as much as there needs to be both mobile order and cash registers. I don't think that mobile order should necessarily replace all the cash registers. So I think that's kind of where they're still trying to figure that out. So hopefully they figure that out soon. But my last thing here, number 3, is the lack of spontaneity. It used to just be like, oh, hey, maybe we'll just go later this afternoon, or even just what should we do today? I don't know. Let's just go to Disneyland. You can't do that sort of thing anymore for the most part. I mean, maybe on a weekday or something you can get away with it, but the times of just kind of saying, what should we do? Oh, let's just go to Disneyland for fun. That doesn't really happen anymore. And that's, I think that's kind of my biggest sadness through all the COVID stuff and everything, is just how they've kind of killed a certain amount of culture.
It's definitely a different place.
Yeah. When it comes to just the Disneyland experience, you cannot, it feels and it's getting better, but it used to feel like you could just go there for a few hours and it was a successful day of just goofing off, and you didn't even go on a ride or anything, but maybe you just goofed off and just did something for a few hours and had some food and whatever. And now it just feels like you're losing something if you do that. Now it feels like you have to like be efficient with your time and like do as much as you can, and like it's getting better. Like I said, now that like the Magic Keys are here and everything, like it doesn't feel so much like that. But especially in the beginning, before any annual passes were back, it was just like, oh well, we better do everything we can because we spent money on these tickets. So anyway, the lack of spontaneity is a big sadness.
Yeah. Well, and it ties in with the dining too, though, because like
Right.
now, if we plan on going, we have to make sure we have a reservation, and then if you don't have a dining reservation, good luck having a walk up available, and like you have to do mobile order, and there's no like walk up anymore for the bar, like for Carthay Circle or the Magic Key Terrace. There's no like standby line anymore. It's like you go and it's like, okay, if you don't have a reservation,
Good luck.
Good luck.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, have fun.
I guess now that I look at all my things too, they all kind of really do tie together. Like it's all kind of like spontaneity just being ripped away from us. But Bob Chapek tells me I have more choices than ever. So
He's listened to you.
So I mean,
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Lord.
You've been listened to.
Yeah.
Any challenges you face, Katrina?
I agree with him on the dining. I mean, that kind of like goes hand in hand with like the spontaneity that actually is a really good word to put towards it. Like the virtual queue is also like a problem in a way because again, like a lot of people haven't really been here in like the last couple years, right?
Yeah.
When Galaxy's Edge was, the first, virtual queue type thing. And, like the people that they want to buy like the 1-2 day tickets are the people that haven't been for like a couple years, 3 years, and they don't know what a virtual queue is. And on top of that, they made more of a confusion with web slingers because they're like, there may not be a virtual queue on that day. So you have to just kind of go at 7 a.m. and see if it's available.
And maybe at 5 p.m. it suddenly doesn't have a need anymore. And it's standby.
And then who knows? And it's just kind of like, oh, okay, so if I bought a park hopper and I chose DCA for the first part of the day, and now there isn't a virtual queue for web slingers at 7 a.m., I can't go get Rise of the Resistance at 7 a.m., so now I just lost out and I have to wait in line for web slingers and then pray at noon I'm able to get like Rise of the Resistance. Because so that like whole confusion where they're like, we may not have a virtual queue is kind of like, well, and then on top of that, like their capacity, they don't say what the capacity is for Disneyland or DCA. And so on top of that, it kind of goes with with like the parking on top of that, like there's no transportation to take you from the parking garage to the parks. And so a lot of people don't understand like how long of a walk that is. And I get very angry and I get very upset when I see comments from Disney when people say like, I have a walking issue. I cannot walk for a certain amount of time. I showed up at the parking garage at, park open, and they already didn't have any ECVs or they didn't have any wheelchairs. How am I supposed to get to the park if I can't walk that far? And their response is we have benches you can sit in and relax for a little bit until you're able to walk again.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
Like that has I got so mad and fired up about it because again, they're losing the Disney touch. Like at least have some kind of van or some I get it's like an enclosed area.
They're
so
doing it with the Toy Story
they
lot.
can't like
So
I
don't tell me you can't do it
understand.
with Mickey and Friends. You have Toy Story parking lot, shuttles, buses.
Right.
You're packing people in. There's no distancing on these buses or anything like that. So that excuse goes out the window. And they've been doing it for months over at the Toy Story lot. So you can't say that this is something you can't do at Mickey and Friends parking structure.
Right. And it also on top of that, I get it. The people are walking in the roadway where the bus would be or something, right? If you have to close a piece down and then make sure it's like enough for like a little golf cart to fit in or something, because again, I get it. Disney's
There's two lanes.
Yeah, like maybe Disney's worried about people abusing it and saying like, "Oh no, I just don't want to walk. Oh no, I have a hurt leg." And like and I get it. People will abuse it and just not want to do it or whatever, but I feel like for people that if you're wanting to buy a wheelchair and you don't have any available at the parking garage, you need to figure something out and get them to to the park.
Yeah.
And not be like, there's benches. You can just chill out, whatever. And that's one thing that I really don't like. So if you cannot walk a long distance, maybe either buy your own wheelchair, bring your own ECV if you have to, or you have to show up really early and just pray you were able to get those too. But it's just like, I mean, I read a story from a lady that when they said, no, we don't have any wheelchairs available. And so someone actually had to leave the parking garage, take her to the front, drop her off, and then go back into the parking garage again so she could get there. And then 2 hours later, they got a phone call saying we have an ECV available. Oh, wow. And I was like, oh, okay, great. But again, like that's, so again, if you're visiting and you haven't visited in a while, that's like it's a very long walk. I mean, it takes us and we walk at a fast pace. It takes us about 15, 20 minutes to get through leaving the car, going through security, and then walking to the gate of Disneyland. Yeah. It takes us about 20 minutes, and we walk.
I've recorded it on my watch, and when you do the round trip, it is like literally an extra mile on your day. So it's not a small amount. It's
and it's a heck of a walk on the way back when you're exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I can imagine like little kids being like, "This is a very long journey. What is
Pick
happening?"
me up.
Yeah, and they're like, "No, absolutely not." So yeah, those are my things.
Awesome. Well, you let us know. What are some of the challenges you are facing when it comes to visiting the Disneyland Resort? Have you been recently? And what have you faced? We're very interested in hearing the list. Certainly, it's not going to reflect everything that we've experienced because everybody's experience is unique. So leave it in our comments section. We always love to hear from you.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.